Hello. Hey everybody, how's it going? Do we have sound? Is everything good? Do I still have sound? Yes, I do. Okay. Am I broadcasting? Am I? Am I coming through loud and clear? Error? Yes, no? Ooh, could be patchy. Is there something taking up my bandwidth? Oh, yes, there is. Steam. Get off my computer, Steam. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That's better. ExpressVPN. Suck a dick. That was not cool. You're using far too much bandwidth. All just so I could watch Buck Rogers on. Oh, it's still showing red. That's not good. Well, it seems to be okay. Sorry about that, everybody. You'd expect a live stream which is all about demons today to be plagued with problems. You're not late, Joseph. You're right on time. Hello, Adrian, Cameron, Roderick, Adam, Frankly Flowers, Jimmy, Jabcab, Mario, Stanchscape. Nice to see you. Juju Bear, Lewis, Morgan, Seamus. How's it going? Presently playing Call of Squid Daddy. I have no idea what that is. Hey Joseph, hey Pale Rider, thank you for all the shout outs on Twitter, by the way. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I see you. Hey William, I'm back. Yep, I'm here. Chansey, it has been a long time. Cameron, nice to see you. Emil Tiger. What is the cheese? The cheese is it's more of my reserve freezer cheese. So of questionable. It's been brewing away in the freezer for many months. I cannot leave that on the carpet. That's going to be very bad. Oh no, I've lost it. Missing cheese. Okay, and I've got some veggie crackers to consume it with. So let's give this a shot. Cheers. Very nice. Mmm. Ghost pepper cheese. Hey, thanks, Games by Mark Wolf. So, the questionable freezer cheese, yeah. Okay, so into the content. As you've seen, this week has been all about demons on the channel and the Abyss. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about Obox Ob, because I'm going to be making a video about Obox Ob very soon. Because I think it's time. I think after you've seen the Molyjuice video, you'll understand, you'll have a pretty good underpinning of understanding what Obox Ob is all about. and the reason why he's the true original power of the Abyss. But I'm happy to take any questions, as always. Who's the youngest of the big 8 demon lords out there in the Abyss? Well, see, all of the, quite a few of the demon lords that you see are Tanari demon lords, or they're sort of constructed like Demigorgon is a Tanari, so he's one of the younger demon lords. But he's also the original Tanari demon lord. But Grast and Fraz Urblu and stuff like that sort of came after that as well. Orcus also is quite young. I don't know about Zugdmoy or Jubilex per se. Jubilex probably is one of the older ones, but Obox Ob is definitely the original old granddaddy of the Abyss. So he's the oldest of the demon lords. Yeah, it is about time. It's true. Do I think Yenogu's stats are fun and accurate? I make up Demon Lord stats as need be, according to whatever will seriously challenge the player characters. So I don't like having them sort of set in stone. That's also why I don't put the stats for Demon Lords and stuff in my videos per se, because it's just not important. I'm here about it's about the feel and the idea and the lore and the history of that the concept of that monster, not so much its nuts and bolts mechanics. He absolutely still is alive in the Abyss. In fact, there's going to be quite a revelation for you today that Obox Ob really is the Abyss. So he's a personification of the Abyss, and the Abyss is actually alive because Obox Ob is driving it. He's the spearhead. So when the Queen of Chaos defeated Obox Ob, she couldn't destroy Obox Ob because that would be just destroying the Abyss itself. So he manifests as this horrific visage, this embodied avatar, but in actual fact the entire Abyss is a bit of Obox Ob. And all demons are a bit of Obox Ob as well. So I'll get into that. Unfortunately, Ian and I we recorded a podcast yesterday where we were talking all about this, and I revealed what the true nature of Obox Ob is to Ian, and he was kind of mind blown. But unfortunately, the bandwidth being what it was, and everybody being online at the moment, the audio recording was all garbled. It sounded like it was unusable, unfortunately. So I'm going to distill what we were talking about and put it into the Obox Ob video to blow your minds. Could a divine nuke a demon lord? That's also, hey, thanks, Kyla. That's also something that we were talking about in the vested interest that the Celestials have in not destroying, not stopping the Blood War. Because I get that question a lot. It's like, well, there's all these evil demons and devils and stuff. Why don't the Celestials, if they're so powerful, just come down and stop all of this? The answer is because they can't. For self-preservation, they can't stop it happening. And it's tied in with Tharizdun and the corruption of the multiverse and all that sort of stuff, that the vested interest of the gods was actually to trap Tharizdun and stop him from resetting and fixing the multiverse. The only way he could do that was to turn it off and on again, and that would have destroyed all the gods in the process. And that if the gods go away, all of the celestial hosts go away, everything stops, it goes back to square one. So Tharizdun was the only god that had the power to do that, to reverse everything, because he's entropy. You can't destroy Tharizdun. If you destroy Tharizdun, you destroy the entire multiverse. So in that regard, he's kind of like H.P. Lovecraft's elder being that's dreaming the multiverse, dreaming reality into existence, and if he wakes up, everything stops. Yeah, it's like that. Jubilex is a loogie that Tharizdun sneezed. Pretty much. Yeah. He was just another wretched being that was kind of created as a byproduct. He's the scum underfoot that crawled off with sentience of its own. Kyla, you're most welcome for the Yenogu video. Do I think it's possible for Knowles to be good and break through the demon ties and urges? Kyla, I think that there's enough instances in the published lore of gnolls being not so savagely horrible that that's always been a possibility. So it's a non-question because it exists in the lore anyway. So it doesn't really matter what I think about it or not. I can cite you examples of where. Oh, is my bandwidth going bad again? I can cite you examples of where that's the case. So yeah. Otherwise, it's just my opinion, and my opinion is worth anybody else's. The demons from Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah. Auto-generated subtitles are crazy today. Azathoth? Thank you. That's the one. Yeah, Obox is kind of the Avatar of the Abyss. The idea was originally, when the Oberth broke through into the Primaterial Plane, through Tharizdun, through the Shard of Ultimate Evil, which is like their lure that they were saying, here's unlimited power of this new concept called evil that you can use. And Tharizdun was like, what's evil? Oh, I'm evil. So it's kind of like the One Ring of Power, except he failed the test. He picked it up and was like, ugh, and instantly converted over to pure evil. But before that, the concept of evil was just, the good and evil was not really a thing in the multiverse, and then the Shard of Ultimate Evil really kicked it into a high gear. So you had this split, this dichotomy of pure good and pure evil. Anyway, what they originally wanted Tharizdun to do was to take that Shard of Ultimate Evil, which was their doorway into the Primaterial Universe, and put it directly into the Astral Plane. The reason why the Astral Plane is so important is because it connects everything. It's a transitive plane that connects all of the other planes of existence. Because everybody who's alive and thinking and sapient, or dead and thinking and sapient, or even inorganic and thinking and sapient, is contributing that higher mental energy to the upper planes. So there's the conduit into every living, thinking being and every plane of existence that they live on. So through the astral plane, the demons could instantly travel to everywhere and convert and corrupt all planes of existence simultaneously at once. That was the whole idea. Unfortunately, or fortunately for everyone, Tharizdun had a momentary split thought of, you know what, I'm not going to take this to the astral sea because I don't want anything. I'm the one who's responsible for putting the astral dreadnoughts and everything in the astral sea to keep it separated from everything, because I want there to be boundaries. I'm the one who set the boundaries between the planes in the first place. So he put the Shard of Ultimate Evil in the non-conceptual lower planes of existence, so the elemental planes, and that's where the Abyss started its corruption. Obox was faced with the long, slow slog of converting one parallel dimension at a time. So that's what the demons have been doing ever since. Then he was betrayed by the Queen of Chaos, who decided that since it was going to take such a long period of time, and her ego, like all demons, and particularly the Oberth, have got massive egos who think they're in charge of everything. And the only way that she could possibly think of bamboozling or outwitting Obox, because she was kind of part of him in the first place, was to use law and order to outwit chaos. The last thing that Obox was expecting was somebody to impose order from his own ranks. So there you go. Is there a Wendigo creature? I get asked to do a Wendigo video once a month, I would say. I don't know if there's an official Wendigo for 5th edition D&D from Wizards of the Coast, but there's probably a Wendigo in another source material, and I'm pretty sure there's one in Pathfinder as well that you could use. A good gnoll, yeah. I've put the example that you could reincarnate as a gnoll. So its soul essentially would be another creature, and then it would incarnate in a gnoll form. But you got to understand that gnolls are gnolls. They're hyenas who got corrupted and mutated by demonic energy to turn into a humanoid species. So all the things that are the humanoid and thinking aspect of them come from Yenogu, not from natural hyenas. So a good gnoll is a hyena. You see what I mean? If you remove all the evil influence, the evil demonic influence, it turns back into a hyena. Can't believe it's the weekend already, I know. Isn't the lockdown just flying by? Hey, DeWall, thank you. Ains in the anime Overlord is the idiot sleeping god from Lovecraft Multiverse. It's even started with the character who turns into him falling asleep in a virtual reality. Oh, interesting. Very, very, what's that movie? Deception? Conception? Reception? I've got the dumb today. It's funny, your brain gets so on track with one particular thing and thinks about it to the nth degree that everything else sort of goes into sleep mode. That's what happened to Not in Critical Role. Oh, the Baneloth's kind of self-generated on the plane of Hades. So Hades was where evil sort of festered. We're not. This is the thing. We don't know what the planes of the outer planes of existence were like before evil came into the multiverse. So we don't know. We don't know what the original, like, they reform and change according to the perceptions and beliefs and higher thoughts of living entities. So we don't know. Time flies when you're avoiding the plague. That'll be a good t-shirt. Inception, thank you. Jesse, it's interesting you should say that. The reason why your perception of time changes as you age is because more and more of your day-to-day activities become automated and instilled in your cerebellum at the back of your head as non-conscious behavior. So you can actually, when you get to the age of 40 or 50 or so, you'll lose track of how many cups of coffee you made in a day because you're not actually thinking about making that coffee. When you do it, you're thinking about other things entirely, and your body's just going through the motions. Same thing with changing gears in a car. You don't have to think about changing gears in a car every time you do it now if you're driving a manual car. You don't think about turning the key on your lock when you close the door and stuff. You don't think of those day-to-day activities that you do so often that they're not like a survival thing, so you don't have to pay attention to it. So as you age, that happens more and more and more and more. So time seems to compress because more of your day is taken up by stuff that you're not actually bothering to remember. There you go. So as you age, you turn into a bender. Yeah, kind of. Hey! Hello, Canada. Keep calm, wash your hands, yeah. Yeah, so there was a momentary moment. There was a moment of clarity for Tharizdun as he realized a part of him with other, like, because his transformation. He's so huge and multi-planet that his transformation into evil was not immediate. So it's rippled across the multiverse, all the different parallel dimensions that he existed in, and so there was a kickback. There was a moment there where some parts of him went, no, we've got to cinch this off. We'll put plans in place to stop this conversion into evil. Because he could see the future. You've never owned an automatic car? Do I like lo-fi hip-hop? I'm a bit here. I mean, some hip-hop's good. There's so much hip-hop, it's hard to narrow it down. For the most part, what have I been listening to lately? There's a Japanese street artist who uses some like PVC drain pipe hooked up to a synth thingy to make a sort of a didgeridoo sound, and he drums on buckets and things like that. Really good. I think his name is Massa or Mazza. I actually bought the album and downloaded it. How do your characters do flesh crafting? Thanks for the donation, Morgan. I For a long time, I was a big fan of the Palladium role-playing game, and in the Rifts role-playing game, there's the continent of Atlantis has returned to Rift's Earth, and they brought with it a lot of alien horrors. One of them being the Splugorth, who are these alien intelligences, like these big masses of tentacles and brain and stuff. And they brought technologies from across the multiverse, different dimensions, and have created a trade hub on the continent of Atlantis on Rift's Earth. And one of those technologies is crafting and grafting alien creatures onto, like parasites and things like that, onto other entities for money. So that's how I think of it. Hey, Stanchskate, that's a good question. Actually, I've got the answer to that for you right here in Elminster's Guide to the Forgotten Realms. They don't know what microbes and stuff are. They know. I'll read it out to you. Most civilized people in the Forgotten Realms know that disease transference works something like this with shaking fever and something like that for black tongue and so on. So they disagree on the treatments and stuff, and a large part of that is misinformation which is spread by the actual clergy. So people who lay on hands and do clerical magic to heal people don't actually want the propagation of herbal techniques and things like that which stop diseases, because it interferes with their trade. So they're the big pharma. The clergy is the big pharma of the Forgotten Realms. So they tend to use whatever they remember worked last time, and they spread that information through word of mouth. The medical texts and things like that are mainly suppressed or very hard to get hold of, because they're whenever the clergy find texts on healing, they sort of snap them up. The gods don't bother to tell people about microbes and stuff. It's not important. They just tell them the techniques for staying clean and things. People wash themselves. They're not unwashed peasants like medieval times sort of thing. Herbal medicines and stuff are actually quite advanced. Demi-humans tend to find acceptance in human society by their advanced knowledge of herbs and stuff. So they're actually much better at treating humans with herbs and stuff than humans are. So elves and stuff are well regarded because they can heal people. Same with dwarves, and to a lesser extent. So there you go. But they know what the sicknesses are. They recognize them. And there's known sicknesses in certain places. So there's plagues in certain areas of the Forgotten Realms. Big God. That is a great question. Yeah, it was a really good question. How would I classify Cthulhu in comparison in relation to demons? Well, they're not comparable, because Cthulhu is a cosmic power. So it's a cosmic entity that exists out in, it's never defined where Cthulhu really comes from, where those outer powers come from. So for H.P. Lovecraft, space was just this vast, unknown, scary place. He couldn't wrap his head around infinity without being terrified by it. So we've got a very different modern take on the cosmos because we understand it a lot better. H.P. Lovecraft was terrified of space, the unknown. The very concept that there was worlds with life on it outside of what was known was always seen as scary. People didn't think of beneficial things coming from space. Thanks, King Kellic. You will get drowned out by super chats and stuff, unfortunately. Yeah, it's hard for me to keep track of 93 people talking to me at once. I will be doing a series of videos, basically where I'm going through this book and talking all about the Forgotten Realms. Plus, I'm going to be continuing on with my Explore series. I am working on something with a very talented dude who is taking a map of the Forgotten Realms and locating everything, and he's researching and locating where everything is. So all of the dungeons, all of the places where specific types of monsters are, will be mapped out as he's slowly going through the entire Forgotten Realms. This map is going to blow your mind. It's going to be a resource. Like, I'm telling this guy, do you have any idea what you're doing right now? This is going to be talked about for years, decades. People are going to be scouring the internet trying to find this map. It's absolutely unbelievable. I would put it the equivalent of, that map of Sigil, where it's all mapped out and all the different locations are mapped out like a Google Maps sort of thing. It's like that. DeWall, thank you. That book. What book was that where Atlantis returned? I've never heard of it. Rifts Atlantis. It's Palladium Games. It's the Palladium role-playing system, so Rifts and stuff. If you're not familiar with it, search Palladium books online and you'll find it. Palladium's got an interesting relationship with role-playing gamers. Most people think that the gaming system is clunky and really needs an update. People who are fans of Palladium books acknowledge that it has flaws, but they love the system anyway. I'm one of those people. I think it's fine. I prefer the SDC system rather than the MDC system, or the 1 to 10 rather than 1 to 100 conversion, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. But it's really, really comprehensive, and it's been around for a very long time. Kevin Siembeda, the guy who invented it and wrote it originally, along with like Eric Wujcik and other pretty amazing RPG writers, are an institution. They've been around for a very long time, and they're very independent. Kevin Siembeda oversees everything that gets made and put to the company title. Yeah, so it's had a long and interesting history, that company. And I've been playing that game, particularly Heroes Unlimited. Heroes Unlimited is my go-to Supers game for RPGs, and I will run a Supers game at the drop of a hat, which most people probably don't realise. Anyway, that's what that is. Robert Wilson, thank you very much. Final Fantasy VII, Roman numerals are not my strong point. 6, 7, remake. Any thoughts? No. Don't really have any thoughts on it. I think I've played one or two different versions of Final Fantasy. I can't even tell you which ones. There was beach balls. There was riding around on chocobos. I enjoyed it, but it's not really my cup of tea. I'm an old school gamer. Like, I'm playing Heroes of Might and Magic 3 at the moment and loving it. So that's my level of gaming. You remember the original Heroes of Might and Magic, where you're running around on the map with your little hero and you take over castles and stuff? Yeah, that's my jam. That's. I play that on the PC, not on a phone. Hey, thanks for joining us, Sanchskate. Where would you place Aussie? Justin, are you talking about Aussie on Faerun? Hey, no problem. Game Time by Mark Wolf. Beneficial cats from space. H.P. Lovecraft was scared by other humans. Yes, that's true. Which we now know as racism. Bigotry in general. Splugorth Blind Warrior Woman. That's right. I need more maps for my Spelljammer campaign. Yeah. I mean, you can basically just make it up as you go. World maps are not really needed for Spelljammer campaigns. Something like you basically just land in a specific area, and so you're mapping out like a 5-mile area. That's all you really need. If you need to go further than that, then you just move your ship to some other place, unless the ship has been captured or something. In which case, you're basically just mapping as your characters explore that world. You don't need to map out the entire world before your character gets there. Just honestly, save yourself the bother. You like the mega damage system? Yep, that's fine. I don't agree with the general principle. I've never really agreed with the general principle of it. I mean, I understand what he was talking about. Like, a baseball bat just can't destroy a tank, so the tank has to have a different damage system. But that could have been handled with, past a certain armor class, it's just not going to do any damage. Like, you know, you give the armor class, you give the tank and armor class a 20 or something, whatever. Oh man, my bandwidth is terrible. What is going on? See, this is why I don't update you, OBS, because you do this shit. HP Lovecraft would lose his shit if he saw Google Star Map. Yeah. Is it really racism if you're scared about literally everyone that's not from a Brit from Providence, Rhode Island? It's general xenophobia, I think they call it. The live art is Flix Kurajit. What? So, sorry, could you explain that, Adrian? You like the old SSI TSR games, yeah. Could it be the imprisonment of Tharizdun have him shattered into keep him from releasing himself automatically? What it is Tharizdun doesn't realize that he's in a prison. He thinks he's actually reset the universe. So they tricked him into thinking that he had reset the universe when in actual fact he'd transitioned into a prison for his mind that takes the form of a huge crystal which is embedded deep in the deep ethereal plane, which was originally guarded by Asmodeus, according to some sources of the lore. You can never really trust anything where Asmodeus is involved because he deliberately sows misinformation about his past and his origin. Oh, this bandwidth is so bad. I'm sorry, everybody. If it becomes too unwatchable, just let me know. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it. Well, it shows me that I've got a reasonable amount of kilobytes per second uploading. But it keeps dropping down like really dramatically. Part of the problem is that there's something going on with like the power and the roadworks and stuff like that at the moment. Because while the lockdown is in place, they're doing all the roading along here really intensively. And that's resulted in several power cuts and stuff. Everything's fine over in Calgary? Oh, that's good. Okay. Yinogu. Yinogu. Yeah, Obriths are the original evils in the D&D multiverse. Cameron, I'm not entirely sure about what H.P. Lovecraft's later life was all about. I've read biographies about him, and I didn't see any original talk about that in those biographies. They've kind of acknowledged it, but one thing to keep in mind is that sentiment was fairly common in Rhode Island and Boston and around there. New Zealand has the best roads. Ha 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 ha. Not really. Stream has resumed. Good. Okay. YouTube is telling me everything's fine now, and then the kilobytes just drop down to 300. Oh, and 0. That's great. They are all over the place. Sorry, everybody. This may be an unwatchable stream. There you go. Oof. This may not be possible to stream today. Yeah. Yeah, my kilobytes are all over the place. Like it's going up to like 3,000 and then it drops down to 300 to 0, then up to 3,000 again. Now it's 165, 179, 2,400. It's just all over the place. It's crazy. It's going crazy. What magic items could I find in a Black Magic's... Oh, sorry, Robert Wilson. Gremlins Monster Ecology video, and they will stop here. Maybe so. Also, we've got a big storm coming in over New Zealand because it's autumn here, so we have storms and stuff as well. But yeah, this... the audio's fine? Oh, that's good. That's the important thing. Nobody needs to see me. Yeah, the brownies are dying from the cheese I dropped on the floor. They're like... He's trying to kill us. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is the best. You are that is correct. Stop worrying about it. Don't tell me what to do. I'll worry about what I like, thanks. So, what was that question? What kind of demon or devil would be tricking Rene Descartes if he was in D&D? I have no idea. I don't even know who that is. Shouldn't Knowles be fiend type instead of humanoid? Well, they made a choice to go one way or the other. For some reason, D&D 5th edition has decided that a creature can only have one type, and that's it. I don't know why. It's kind of crazy to me. That's like oversimplifications. Well, I can see the back end here, and it may stabilize or not. I've just heard some heavy vehicle move off, and all of a sudden it's stabilized again, so I have no idea. Bear in mind, there's a connection box that's like, this isn't fiber optic. This is old school ADSL. So there's a copper connector box down the end of the road. So it's literally getting shook up by heavy vehicles which are going past. And occasionally our power cuts out. Like we had a micro power cut and it just wiped out our internet for a second there. The anthology had a deep dive into that part of his personality before the stories even start. I thought it was good that they recognised the issue and addressed it. Yeah, but I mean, how much... Like, he wrote a lot of letters, but we all know that people's public persona is a little bit different from their private one. Even, me, I project a certain persona. It's very close to who I am, but, like, I do swear more often in person. Did you ever find out about lycanthropy in space? No. Thank you, Adrianeth. Lycanthropy in space. For full moons and stuff. No, not really. I don't even know if it gets a mention. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I can do it on my phone. Maybe my phone's using bandwidth. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I'll switch over to mobile. Lycanthropy in space. I've got Google so well trained that it just automatically answers D&D related questions. Werewolves in Space, a serious, hilarious scientific Twitter thread on lycanthropy. So there's a Twitter thread on it. There's a D&D Next Reddit thread about it as well. Starfinder RPG might have some information. Here's what happens to werewolves on the moon, according to Geophysics Forbes. Forbes did an article? Are you what? How mainstream is D&D now? So there's resources, certainly, to look up. Descartes. Oh, I see. I don't know. Well, nobody's been praising Yubtup, so he might not have shown up, Robert Wilson. René Descartes was a radical skeptic in France who tried to discern whether or not the world was real. He's the one, I think, therefore I am. Oh, that guy. Okay. Right. Well, he would love the modern idea of the holographic universe, wouldn't he? That this could all actually be a computer program. The problem is there's a finite amount of information that can fit into a certain space. It's actually got a name. I can't remember it right now. So the human brain is only so big. So it can only fit so much information, no matter how densely packed it is. And there's more information in the all the possible multiverses that exist in the universe far exceed that maximum amount of information. So it is true that literally anything that you can think of is just a drop in the bucket of the possible parallel dimensions that exist right now. We can thank Richard Feynman for that. Feynman's shapes. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. If it's Vecna still mad that you talked about his secrets, and because you were talking about Tharizdun, he is worried you're going to spill the beans again, and that is all he can do to stop you is to shut down my internet. Yeah, that could be the case. Could be the case. Thanks, Adrianeth. That's why I trust you're more trustworthy, more trustworthy than the Forbes article. Confirmed. Yeah, for sure. I will fight you, Forbes. Like, stick to telling men how to wear suits. Vecna and Tharizdun is the connection? Why, yes. So go and watch the video on Astral Dreadnoughts. It was probably the best one for that. Sean Carroll has some really interesting lectures on the many worlds theory. Thanks, I'll look that up. Personally, I've always felt that's on the right track for sure. Do I think it's the real AJ talking to us? Who would copy me, honestly? You want to know more about the creator races? Well, I've got a video on the Saruk, which I've been planning to do for a while, but I keep getting distracted by other stuff. But I've really got to get around to it. Although I know it's probably not going to get as many hits as the Demon and Dragon videos do. At the moment, I'm really kind of... like, I have been putting out very long videos, long play videos, and generally on topics that people have been asking for, and I know that are going to get a lot of interest and just be sort of comfort food for people. Because, you know, we're all stuck inside and it's kind of hard. So I am consciously making videos that will entertain and titillate people, for sure. Plus, I really enjoy making the demon videos and stuff. I love thinking about that sort of cosmology things. Oh, somebody mentioned Alex Jones. Demonetized. I have a funny idea for a campaign setting that would take place on Earth. The only difference is that all of Alex Jones' conspiracy theories are true. The frogs are gay. Yep, 5G is activating viruses. This 5G conspiracy bullshit is just unbelievable. There's more damaging radiation from the sun. Like, walk outside and walk around in the sun, and it's more damaging to you than 5G could ever be. Wrap your thick brains around that, everybody. That the sun is putting out more energy every second of every day than 5G ever could. You morons. So I disagree violently with all of their conspiracy theories, with greater clarity and more speed, because I'm disagreeing through 5G, you dickheads. And people who are burning down cell phone towers, oh man. What are you going to do? Set fire to your car radio? Morons. Who's my personal favourite Lord of Ruin? Gonna have to say Demogorgon, just for the sheer number of views that video has got me. I'm biased, what can I say? Can I do more videos on the culture of the devils? Yeah, I can, for sure. The sun gives us vitamin D, yeah. The sun is 5G but low-fi. Well, 5G is low frequency. It's more like... Never mind. People burn their own shoes. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Stranger Things. Thanks for all the views. It's turning the lizard folks orange. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of people in this world, and I think it's about time that we address the fact that we're heading towards an idiocracy, and we need to do something about it. We need to nip this shit in the bud. We need to turn around to these people and say, look, no, you're not correct. I'm not part of some conspiracy theory. You're actually scientifically, factually incorrect. Here is the facts. If you don't read them, I'm going to punch you repeatedly in the face until you do, you dickhead. You're actually causing more harm for people who mean you the best. Like the people at emergency services who are trying to save the lives of the people who you're related to are being hampered by the fact that you're burning down their fucking cell phone towers. You idiots. It's like, ugh. It's unbelievable. Thanks, Billy. You know, woo. Oh, yeet no woo. I saw that comment on the video. I thought that was hilarious. Taco Bell was deemed necessary, yes. I was most impressed by the fact that we've finally got the secret recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken. They gave it away. Somebody figured it out. So that's the first thing I'm going to do when I'm out of lockdown is I'm going to be cooking up some KFC for my parents. It's like, here you go. They've given up on KFC restaurants because the portions are too small and their order's always wrong and the chips are wrong and everything's not as good as it used to be. So I'm gonna cook them up a whole chicken, KFC style. Virus deniers, yeah, probably virus deniers, and the virus conspiracy theorists. Like, it's factually proven that the virus is from the wild. It's not manufactured in a laboratory. It's not. It's just not. As much as we would love to make China even more of a bad guy, I still think they're fully responsible for this shit in the first place because of their dreadful practices with the wet markets. But it's not a conspiracy theory thing. They're not doing it to attack the United States or anything. Yeah. Things are hard enough without people pouring that shit onto the fire, honestly. It's just more smoke than flames. It's just ridiculous. Because the key thing to look for, like videos or anything like that, which have this in the background, and they don't show the viewers, like they don't have the person speaking. It's just like weird images and stuff. Conspiracy videos, right? View them as entertainment and nothing more, because they're all bullshit most of the time. And yeah, some of the information that they're putting out there is just so way up conspiracy theory lane. It's just ridiculous. And the scary thing is that people are actually paying attention to this stuff, because they're taking in everything about the virus, because they're terrified. They don't know what's going on. Hey Cormac, nice to see you. World Wrestling, is that really? World Wrestling has been deemed essential? No, really? Long John Silver. Dude, I can cook you some fish. What entity would I consider to be the oldest in the D&D universe? Igorl. Igorl is he's going backwards in time, so he's one of the oldest. But the D&D multiverse has restarted, and the D&D part of the multiverse has restarted over and over again because of the action of the gods. So it doesn't have a beginning point where everything started. It snapped into existence because it reset to a certain point and things were already there. So it doesn't have a start point. It doesn't have a big bang like our universe does. Evolution is a theory. Yeah. They're called public schools and they need to install martial punishment. Yeah. Back in the days when somebody was talking nonsense, they just got punched in the face. I'm all for punches in the face, honestly. They work. They do. Dude invents transparent aluminum, is considered a witch. Yeah. Oh, I said aluminum, not aluminium, as we do over here. I'm getting Americanified. You're making tacos right now? Nice. Hey, Dragon Ball. How's the audio? Is it good? Not too much. They intended to attack Hong Kong. They just missed. Communism! Yeah, that's... Yeah. I saw an email today that my dad got, and he showed me this, and he's like, I don't want to send this on to people. I just wanted you to have a look at it. And I was just like, blah, 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 blah. And then it was just like, Nancy Pelosi is cahoots with the communists, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, no. I was just like, no, Dad, this is trash. This is trash. So they start off with something which seems plausible, and then they just go into gay frog territory. Woo! Tinfoil hats. It's just crazy shit. And next thing you know, there's some idiot burning down stuff. Or, what happened in Michigan with them turning up and basically having a racist rally outside of the Michigan governor's office. It's like, dudes, I know this is America. You got the right to assemble and freedom of speech and right to bear arms and stuff like that, sure. But you're actually endangering public health. You're endangering the hospital because you're blocking access to ambulances and stuff. Personally, if I was the cops, I'd say, you know what? Get out of the way or we're going to open fire on your vehicles, because you're actually endangering the lives of people who need medical assistance. Paying customers of the hospital. Can you imagine if Big Pharma was hiring personal security guard firms and stuff that were actually more well equipped and paid than the police force? What would you do? Declare martial law? In a completely capitalist society, they wouldn't have state institutions of army and navy and all that sort of stuff. It would all be run by corporations. Do you really want to go there? Do you want to go full capitalist? There's too much snake jazz. Punches to the face solve quite a bit. I'm from the generation who, got punched in the face. So, yeah, it didn't harm us. The idiocracy thing has been an issue for a while, yeah. I saw somebody joking on Facebook recently that pretty soon somebody's going to be talking about the wonders of Gatorade. It's like, yeah, That's the litmus test for idiocracy. As soon as somebody starts watering their garden with Gatorade, it's got what plants crave. Gay frog territory. Yep. Let's put that on a t-shirt. By the way, everybody, I need your feedback on what sort of merchandise and stuff you want me to do. Do you want me to do like personal artwork and stuff on there? Do you want catchphrases from the videos? What do you want? What do you want? Let me know. So if you're watching this live stream all the way to here, put it in the comment section down below what sort of merchandise you want me to produce for you so that you can buy stuff. Get really selfish. Like, tell me what you personally want me to make that you will buy. Not what you think everyone will buy, but what you personally want to buy. More shirts. I'm very keen on the all over print shirts. I quite like those. They're a better quality actually than the other ones. If someone misguided is doing the punching, our idiocracy might have trouble. Yeah, nah, not really. You get good at taking a punch, I guess. I mean, back in the 19 whatevers, when it basically it allows, like, okay, I'm not advocating intergender punching, for instance, because that's physically not a good idea, because males have got massive upper body strength advantages and we're built to take punches. Everything that looks masculine about my face is built to take a punch. That's why it's blocky and you know, robust, etc. I've got the bone structure to take a heavy impact to the head. Something that we need to acknowledge. I've had more than one person say, oh, you're not at all what I expected you to look like. You look like somebody who would get into a bar fight and probably win. A Tiamat t-shirt. Snarky D&D apparel. You want a TMG gas mask? Cheese catalogue done by me. Those are good ideas. Monster shirts. What monster or demon do you think is most misrepresented by the art of D&D? Ooh, boy, that's a good question. Thug Life Kirin pullover hoodie. That's pretty cool. Thanks, man. That donation basically paid for one. Misrepresented by artwork in D&D. Elves. This face is punch-proof shirt, yeah. Handsomely chiseled, yeah. Do they produce? I don't know if Teespring actually does gas masks. If they do, yeah, sure, why not? A shirt with a cheese that broke the live stream. Cheese that broke the live stream. Igor? I suppose so. Before I saw you on the video, I pictured you as a British person with a mustache and a monocle. Yeah, I do sound fairly British. It's true. Well spoken. Elves, why not? Elves' height has varied considerably over the editions. Their ears are getting longer and longer the longer the video game world has got hold of elves. Elves, like, look at World of Warcraft. They give elves like 1/2 foot long ears. It's like, come on, seriously? They're not peacocks. Elves don't go, ooh, it's a nice pair of ears, and, you know, basis of attraction based on ear length. The different elves in D&D have been represented quite differently, and like Forgotten Realms elves, like if you look at 5th edition D&D, it doesn't really accurately represent the different types of elves in on the world of Faerun at all. The fact that there's like moon elves and, you know, prehistoric sun elves and green elves and stuff, they're quite different from each other. Gold dwarves and hill shield dwarves look quite different from each other. It's like gold dwarves are quite dark skinned. Kirin are awesome, it is true. It's like you asked me this wide open question. It's like, orcs for instance, What happened to the pig-nosed orcs, for instance? The ones with snouts. What happened to them? They just disappeared because the artwork changed. Dragon turtles. Too small. What else? Dragons. Dragons in the original D&D were not, not really defined by types. There's every dragon was different. I miss those dragons. You hope that they make winged elves as a playable race officially. Well, just use Aarakocra and make them pretty. Don't worry, AJ will identify as a woman when we punch them. Gender is a social construct. Would I ever explore hybrid dragons from interchromatic or metallic dragons? By the way, this is my first time interacting in live stream. I've been binging all your videos over the last year. Hey, thanks, Tyzoth. Yeah, it's like some of the dragons, for instance, the ones that are a type of dragon are kind of interbred dragons in the first place. But it's not really a genetic thing with dragons in some cases. It's more like the internal elemental draconic energy of them and the influence of Bahamut and Tiamat as well. So, yeah. Can we get a t-shirt with just your face, with no context at all, just your face? There is one. It's the Gluminati shirt. Or do you want to, like, no artifacts, just me staring out of the t-shirt? I can do that. Do Devil use guns in the Blood War? They can. Yeah, they can. But for them, magical energy is much more reliable and it's easily rechargeable with soul energy and stuff like that. Bullets and gunpowder would be seen as extremely feeble and unworkable because it requires mass engineering and construction. Whereas magic, easy. But home is nowhere? Welcome. Hobgoblins look too lion-faced. Yeah, I agree. Anime elves make me think someone crossed a donkey with a human. That earlobe, though. Those thick lobes, yo. You going to order dice after the show? I hope you get some from D&D WoW. Am I ever going to do a video on my God of Psionics? It's not really my God of Psionics. The character retired when he ascended to godhood, and then Ian used him in his campaign, Solution campaign, as the God of Psionics. So it was not mine, it's his. So I'd need to actually ask him all of that information. I just played him as a Scion player character for 3.5 edition. T-shirts with some drow live... T-shirts with some drow live or live? So there's no official hybridized dragons between, say, red and blue. Well, if you go back in the lore, like if you go back in Dragon Magazine, for instance, they give all sorts of details on how to make your own custom dragons. So the thing is, dragons are rare enough in the first place. Like there's not that many on the world of Toril. And so interbreeding between them is so vanishingly rare that you could say that every single time it happens, it's an individual case that you can basically homebrew. So every hybridized dragon would have slightly different traits. So it would have different elements of different parents, for instance. Or it may exhibit entirely new traits. So you could crossbreed a red and a green dragon and come up with a orange dragon or a cobra dragon. It just goes off on a weird tangent. You never know. You're a conspiracy theorist, but I'm a man. Punch. Starting to regret that comment. Do I have any knowledge of the dark powers from Ravenloft? I know it isn't your wheelhouse as such. Yeah, then I don't know if they're that clearly defined. They're these powerful entities which can trap evil beings in their own pocket dimensions. And they have them as a menagerie for their own entertainment. So I guess their overall motivation is voyeuristic. I don't know. So they're creating. Imagine if they're like they're collecting them to draw pain and suffering from those places to use as an energy in the Shadowfell. That's just as valid as a reason as any, I suppose. But they could just be doing it for voyeuristic purposes to see what happens. So they're collecting them like a display. You know, they've got them on their mantelpiece. Here's Vlad, and here's, you know, Frankenstein's monster, etc. Or Strahd, I should say. An Elder Elemental Eye t-shirt. Imagine being psychic and reading conspiracy theory thoughts. Well, most people are kind of like that. I mean, we've all got weird ideas about things. Sith sorcery. Would 100% be into a DM screen you design with character sheet or cheat sheets you could use and artwork? Yep, I could do something like that, I suppose. Yeah. So elves originally had eyes which were like quite angled like at quite an angle on their faces. 3.5 edition really did a lot to like define what the face of the races and stuff looked like. But they got there's a continuing saga of trying to deal with hobbits. Like, no, a halfling is not a hobbit. Like, it's a hobbit. It's a hobbit. The original red box set picture of an elf, a dwarf, and a hobbit is fine. Is fine. That's exactly what they should look like. Gnomes look like garden gnomes. Forget about it. That's what they are. Thanks. I was quite happy with that video on the Mologies. How many dragons exactly are on Toril? I don't know yet. We're working on it. Hey, John the Herbalist. Well, it's time for me to go, everybody. Exactly, same riser. The succubi and the incubi, which are the same thing, have their hand in every cookie jar. That's their entire purpose. They're consummate mercenaries. They shift and change between both sides, much like they shift and change between both genders. They're completely fluid in their loyalties and their motivations. Halfling leprechauns. How much would the leather bag be? You can get them from Amazon. Cheap plastic minis from AJ. My minis are not cheap, my friend. Mainly because I don't mass produce anything. Stay safe, everybody. I will be back again next weekend with another live stream, and I'll be bringing you another couple of videos this week. I don't know exactly what yet. I have my list of things to do. But you never know. I might come up with something completely different. Have a hood one. So yeah, I will catch you all later.